who told me that when Trump became president in 2016, he was in high school and he got called a dirty wetback. And he told me this through tears. And he had not been able to tell his mother. She was hearing it for the first time as he was telling me. And
cruelty.
These little girl's parents were not criminals.
No.
We sort of weaken our argument when we just try to tie it to Trump directly.
Well, but you haven't had a president. You have not had a president like Trump use the language that he's used as aggressively as he's used.
Where we are today is the workers, the people who are coming here now are much different than the immigrants, the illegal immigrants that came in the 2000s, that came in the now we have this adverse reaction to everything Trump did.
No other president has relished in the cruelty.
Hello, everybody. Guys, let's get right into this clip. This video honestly was just horrific and nauseating to make. Let's check this out and we'll talk about it.
Remember this name, Jocelyn Rojas Carranza. She was only 11 years old. She loved 3 brothers and sisters. She played French horn, she danced, she sang. She did cartwheels, or at least she tried to do as best as she could at 11 years old. She made TikTok videos. She counted down the days until movie night on Fridays. She got her nails done with her grandma. She was in the 6th grade. And it's there, at school, where Carranza was bullied. And it's because of what happened there that we are talking in the past tense tonight about her. The bullies allegedly targeted Carranza over her family's immigration status, turning the threat of ICE agents knocking on her door into a menacing taunt. She took her own life, and her mother, Maribela, found her in their Texas home. Again, Jocelyn was only 11 years old. Joining us at the table is Maria Santana. She is an anchor and correspondent for CNN en Español.
I mean, guys, these are children. She's 11 years old, and I don't blame the kids that bullied her. I blame the disgusting, noxious, insolent parents and this whole MAGA and Trump movement. What the hell happened to the soul of this nation? And do you think MAGA Republicans will care at all? They're making fun of this kind of stuff. They're probably laughing at this. I can only think about what they're going to say. Well, should have never came here. And like, who do you think taught these kids to bully her that way? It's 9 out of 10 times it's coming from the parents, especially at that age. Holy crap, guys, she's 11 years old. But this is the party of family values, right? Christian values you constantly speak about. But don't worry, the God you supposedly believe in is seeing all of this and hearing all of this.
Maria, I want to talk to you about this case in just a second, but Anna, I see you there, and
I haven't been able to stop thinking
story
about this little girl the whole day. And look, when I did the CNN documentary on the Latino vote, I remember sitting down with a young man named Emmanuel, who told me exactly this story, who told me that when Trump became president in 2016, he was in high school, and he got called a dirty wetback. And he told me this through tears. And he had not been able to tell his mother. She was hearing it for the first time as he was telling me. And this is happening all over America because of what has been unleashed, because of the portrayal of Latinos in particular and immigrants as criminals and as bad people. The TPS holders, the Venezuelans, as if they're all part of Tren de Aragua. They don't even know how to say Tren de Aragua, so now they call it TDA. There are kids being bullied. There are kids being targeted. And there are kids who are terrified that their parents, U.S. citizen kids, terrified today that their parents are going to be taken away, that they're going to go home, and the home is going to be empty. And so that is what has been unleashed on America.
And we don't know all the details here about what happened. We don't even know her parents' immigration status, but that's it's almost like beside the point.
Right. I mean, at this point, will her mom go on TV and say, yes, I am undocumented, knowing what's happening to people when they go on TV and then they get picked up by ICE? But yeah, this is still under investigation. It's being investigated by the school police. And what the mom told CNN is that the girl committed suicide after she was being relentlessly bullied and taunted at school about the family's immigration status. Kids saying to her, We're going to call ICE. They're going to come to your house. They're going to pick up your parents. You're going to stay alone. And the worst part about it is that she says that she didn't even know that this was happening. The girl was getting counseling at school where she was reporting the bullying. The school apparently was aware of it. But she said that she only learned about it from investigators. So she's saying, you know, maybe I could have done something. I didn't notice any signs in my daughter that she was going through this situation. But if the school had said to me, you know, she's being bullied about this, maybe she could have done something. And that's what's even more heartbreaking about this story. There was a funeral for her today where even her schoolmates showed up, and she was just remembered as a happy, joyous girl.
This is every parent's nightmare.
Guys, she's 11 years old. Like, holy crap. Like, this is one of those effects of racism, which this is clearly about. It's never spoken about how this messes with the mental psyche of someone. Think about how many kids that are going through this right now. How many kids have gone through this and are adults now, and somehow have kept going on with life. Do you think that has a psychological effect on them? On us? Because this kind of stuff happens to all people of color. Like, guys, these are children. Like, Republicans, is it woke to care about her? Or any other children that goes through something like this? You pieces of garbage, scum. This is the Republican Party. It's pure cruelty and hate.
Just on a human level, but we're just at a moment where we have to talk about this because there are 4.4 million American children, U.S. citizen children, who are born with an undocumented parent. And what happens to them?
It's sad, to be honest, Abby. It's horrible to have an 11-year-old girl suicide herself over bullying. Bullying is real. And obviously, you know, they didn't catch it in time, or she didn't report it on time, or I don't know what it was. But the fact of the matter here is we have a system that's broken, and people are making fun of someone's parents and caused her to kill herself. That is horrible.
But
Nobody
you know,
wants
There's
that.
something happening. I just want to show this because I think, and I'll let you jump in. The other part of this is that obviously deportations happen every day in this country under Democratic and Republican administrations. People who break the law, who are criminals, should be sent back or deported or jailed or whatever it is. But there's something happening also with this administration making light of the whole situation. This was a Valentine's Day post from the White House official account. Roses are red, violets are blue, come here illegally and we'll deport you. And then another post on social media saying ASMR, this is sort of like social media slang for kind of like a sensory experience of illegal alien deportation flight. That's what the caption was. And the operative image here is the chains. You see them there. So look, again, it's not a question of should criminals be deported, but the idea of kind of celebrating this as something that is almost like with a thrill down your spine, I think
I mean, but
there's
there's a
human
level
beings
of
behind
cruelty.
this, right?
This little girl's parents were not criminals.
No.
Yeah.
That has
And
been said.
that-
And there's a level
yeah.
of dehumanization and cruelty built into all of this that I think trickles down to average Americans, where they're not feeling empathy for 11-year-old girls when they're relentlessly bullying them. And it's almost become a thing where, like, threatening to call ICE on people is like a game to just further victimize these communities that are already living in paralyzing fear and anxiety. And we've seen cases like this happening just in the last few days of, you know, a pizza shop manager being fired for threatening to call ICE on his own customers, a teacher who made posts about, encouraging people to report his undocumented students. And that's having an effect. When you talk about policy and numbers of arrests, of deportations, there's people behind that, there's families behind that, and there's a real psychological and emotional effect there that we also have to talk about.
Yeah.
What is so
And guys, they're missing a point here. They're targeting brown Hispanics. Like, there's no other illegal immigrants. There's not a crap ton of Asian or European. What a surprise they don't go after the Australian or the European immigrant here that's illegally here. But MAGA is so confused. They're still so confused as to why they're called constantly racist. And guys, this might not sound right, but to me, I put this on blame, of course, on Trump more than anyone, but even more than him, I think Hispanics that voted for him. Like, this is probably more on you than anyone that I can think of. You should know better how they saw us, your people, our people in general, how they see people of color. I know some Hispanics think, oh, they see me differently than a black person. But I'm here to tell you, they effing don't. You are still subhuman to them. As long as you have a tint in your skin color, you are subhuman to them. You don't think this same kind of has effect when you call someone DEI? You don't think kids are doing this kind of crap to black kids? Or they see a Middle Eastern kid and calls them a terrorist or something, sees a Jewish person and calls them something disgustingly anti-Semitic? This thing has an effect on the mental psyche of people, guys. Like, this is so cruel and vile, and it's all from Trump. I'm sorry, all from Trump and you disgusting cultists. And you see the Republican, the Spanish you do there, looking somber, looking down. You don't give a effing crap about them. When Trump was talking about the cats and dogs and poisoning the blood of the nation, you still voted for him. You still stood by his side.
Painful about this is that this was as predictable as it is tragic. This didn't happen by accident. I mean, when you have the leader of the free world who's now saying that I'm a king, basically using every ounce of his breath and deputizing people to call people that don't look like us rapists, robbers, murderers, or they're criminals. And are they violent criminals? Are they part of gangs? Or are this just mom and dads that came over here or that have been here before? Is it really any surprise that they're getting vilified in the communities that they live in? I promise you that there are little girls and boys that are in their corner of their bedrooms wondering whether or not ICE is going to break into the house and take their mom and dad away. And when Tom Homan, who's running this whole operation, sits in these seats, and you say to him, Tom, can you please help me work through this? Let's say I'm the mayor of New Orleans. I want to help you get rid of all the violent criminals. You want to get rid of somebody that's violent on my street? I'm 100% in. Let's go get them. But are you going to go take grandma and grandpa and Tia? And you're going to, well, you know, I'm just going to say if they're kind of around, you know, they're going to go. That sends shockwaves. And so what I'd say, look, we have a broken immigration system. It's been broken for a long time. Ronald Reagan actually gave the best speech about this on the last speech that he gave of his presidency. Donald Trump's got the pen. If he's so powerful and he's so tough and he's so smart, why doesn't he just ink out an immigration proposal that, by the way, we wanted to pass a couple years ago that he said, we don't want to do this. We can, you know, we can be tough and smart. But Americans don't want to be cruel. And you're seeing the consequence of a cruelty now that's going to have disastrous effects for kids.
I'm sorry, but I think the Americans do want to be cruel. I think Americans that voted for Republicans, that voted for Trump, I mean, and Republicans, yes. I mean, this is the party that said that immigrants were poisoning the blood of the nation. Tucker Carlson said immigrants were dirtying the country. And these people still voted for this party over and over again. They laughed when Nancy Pelosi's husband got hit with a hammer. These people are barbaric.
Yeah, first of all, it's very, very tragic. I mean, I have a young child, 2 young kids, and you always live in the fear of the outside influences, how they're going to affect them. And so as parents, me and my wife, we constantly think about that. And so we obviously hurt for the family, what they go through. But, you know, listen, I have a Mexican mom, I have a Bolivian dad, I grew up in East Los Angeles. We've always lived under the fear of La Migra coming to our neighborhoods. You know, that has always been, that was during Reagan, that was during Clinton, that was during Bush. You know, that has always been there. True. So I think we sort of weaken our argument when we just try to tie it to Trump directly.
Well, but you haven't had a president, you have not had a president like Trump use the language that he's used as aggressively as he's used it amongst, you can name every one of those presidents, you're right, Bush, Reagan, and all of them spoke
none of them
in
got
different
more
ways.
Latino votes than Donald J. Trump did
That's
either.
true, but that doesn't make it right.
Got more votes than
That
Donald J.
doesn't make
Trump.
less cruel.
We don't have.
Uneffing believable that these guys are still defending Trump. Oh, you can't lay this all on the feet of Trump. What the F are you talking about? Yes, we know the Republican Party was racist before Trump. But we know ever since Trump has came in, it's reached its final form. Ever since Trump has entered the scene, the level of hate in the Republican Party is just public now. I'm sure all you disgusting racists out there have felt this in your heart for a long time. But Trump has emboldened you guys. And that piece of crap that's still defending his cult leader, he's Hispanic. Like, this is so insane. And Hispanics that voted for Trump, that are legal here. You're legally here. If you think that party, those MAGA morons, Trump, wouldn't want your ass out of this country, best believe they do. If they can find out a way to get your legal immigrant ass out of this country, they effing will.
A lot of time, but Brian, what you just said, it struck me because you grew up understanding what that sense was
Every
like
day.
and the lack of differentiation between hardworking immigrants, maybe some of them are undocumented, but they're not criminals, and people who are. What do you think about the lack of distinction that is being made between those groups of people right now?
You know, listen, I think where we are today, Abel and I, we grew up in almost the same neighborhood. And where we are today is the workers, the people who are coming here now are much different than the immigrants, the legal immigrants that came in the 2000s, that came in the 90s. You know, they were sort of more of family unification. You know, they came in for the hard work. The ones that are coming now, you know, some of them are hard workers, but it's the pace that they've come in has become a problem. They've become a problem with the Latino community. Abel's right. You know, Latino vote did really well with the Republican Party for the first time because President Trump is addressing these things. There are those people who come to this country who play by the rules, who wait in line. My father waited in line. Your father worked the fields till he was able to get his visa. There's a process that worked, and I think the frustration that Republicans have is that just because, you know, Donald Trump, you know, said we need to build a wall, something, by the way, Hillary has said too, we need to build a barrier. Now we have this adverse reaction to everything Trump
Look,
gets.
no other
You guys lose
president, no other
credibility.
president has relished
Yeah.
in the cruelty and been as vocal about it. There's always been a level of compassion shown, Republicans and Democrats. George W. Bush was the compassionate conservative. Donald Trump is showing absolutely no compassion. He is showing no distinction. He is relishing in the cruelty as the people that he has delegated to do this. And they are, and part of it is precisely with the purpose of instilling fear in the immigrant community so that they leave of their own accord. And I'll tell you this, I know a hell of a lot of Venezuelans in Miami right now who are really regretting their vote for Trump because he is lifting temporary protective status of the hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans who fled Maduro, who is an oppressive dictator. The guy that Donald Trump was just
I
negotiating.
have great
mentioned this
respect for both.
Anna, the guy you're talking to is a piece of garbage coward with this close the door behind me mentality. Pick me. Look, I'm one of the good Hispanics. MAGA, won't you love me now? You're effing weak. Hispanics that voted for Trump, you're so weak. So pathetic. All for your ambitions of success. You close the door behind you and have this disgusting mentality of your own people. Our people. My people. Guys, I am not going to stop going after these people until my last breath. Until all this kind of racism is pushed as far as possible. I'm going to do as much as possible. I don't care if it's against Hispanics, black people, Middle Eastern. I don't give a F what who's about. This stuff it's so extreme. Oh man.
For both of their histories, and I think they're right. I think the Democrats will late to this issue. I think the country now understands we've got to secure our border, and there are things that we have to do better that we haven't done across the last 5 presidents. But you can't. Yeah, in both parties.
Both parties
But you
have done a
can't.
poor
What I
job.
find really unbelievable about this Trump thing that we're in, this haze that we're in about Donald Trump, is somehow that he's like Ronald Reagan, George Bush, Barack Obama, or any other president. This guy is a degree different. He is much better at being bad than he was, and he doesn't want any restrictions on him, and he's got a dark heart. And when you use the language and you're that powerful and that penetrates down to the ground, these kids are hearing things in the school, the ones that are doing the bullying. Where do you think they're getting that from?
You
I mean,
just
I
have
think
to
that
look
the
at
bullying
the.
is just to underscore what you're saying. I mean, I just want to, for that 1 second, put the politics to the side. But when the messages that filter down to children, they are distilled down to their core essence, 100%. Which is that you look like this, 100%. Your mother speaks Spanish, you are going to be deported.
100%.
And that's what we're talking about here.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I've seen cases even in my daughter's school where kids are asking, is ICE going to come in? Are they going to, take any of my friends? There was a very sad post that I saw of a child who wrote a letter to his friend in school and said, I think he was from El Salvador, and he said, if you're reading this letter, this means that I've been deported and you will probably never see me again. I mean, just the sadness of it, and there's cruelty that we haven't seen with another president. Just when the Secretary of State puts out an ad that says, if you come to this country illegally, we will hunt you down. I mean, those words are powerful. Hunt you down. It sounds
Secretary
like
of State, by the way,
just to
whose
know-
parents came here as economic immigrants from Cuba.
And just to note that the Trump administration has also halted legal aid for migrant children, which would leave some of them, very, very young children in some cases, to navigate this legal labyrinth alone. I'm not sure why that makes any sense.
Abby, the system is broken.
Oh,
The
shut the
immigration
F up.
system is completely broken, and both political parties over the last 25 years, as Anna stated, when George Bush came in, none of them have tried to fix it. And in my heart, I feel like they use it like a political football.
They do.
This party uses it for
They
them,
do,
use it for- and we're hurt.
And I think that, look, if Trump is serious about fixing it,
Let's do it.
we should see a bill. We should see a bill because that's the only way to really fix it. Maria, thank you very much for.
And guys, again, trying to both sides it. Like, if Trump hasn't said that immigrants are poisoning the blood of this nation, like, he hasn't said this cats and dogs thing. Like, why don't they bring this up? Guys, my last thoughts, condolences to the family, and I hope that the little girl has found peace. This was a hard video to make. This was horrifying. And sadly, this is not going to be the last story you hear about something like this. I'm going to leave it there, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. And like I said, I will be unyielding, vigilant, aggressive in stopping this kind of crap. And it's why I make these videos. I don't care if it takes 100,000 videos. I am not going to stop. I'm coming after each and every one of these disgusting racist attacks and racist pundits. And we're going to expose you. I'm going to leave it there, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. And I'll catch you in the next one.